Luckily, an amateur archaeologist was the daughter of a banana company executive. Doris Stone recognized the enormous archaeological and cultural value of these spheres and enlisted the help of a professional archaeologist, Samuel Lothrop. He managed to study some of the spheres in situ, before the steam shovels moved them out of their archaeological context. Since Lothrop and Stone, many professional archaeologists from Europe, United States, and Latin America, including more recently Costa Rica, have studied the Diki region. Academics are prone to quarrel over what seems to us laymen to be arcane details. A consensus has emerged, however, about who made the spheres, when they were made, and how they were made. Archaeologists refer to a geographic area called the Intermediate Zone, or Istmo-Columbian area. The Costa Rican Indians, with the exception of those living in the Nicoya, belong to this group. They are considered neither Mesoamerican nor Andean, but are an ethnically, linguistically, and culturally distinct group of their own. We think of the pre-Columbian New World as populated mostly by progressive waves of migrant groups moving ever southwards, from the main entry point over the Beringian land bridge, and eventually all the way down to Tierra del Fuego. But all of the traffic was not one way. It's thought that the Costa Rican Indians' ancestors came from the Amazon. Archaeologists have tracked their slow migration northwards by many things, including stratigraphic evidence of their particular food items, like pejivaye, Bactris gassipeus, their predilection for cobbled mounds, circular buildings, and unusually straight roadways. By the 6th century AD, an advanced culture lived near the Baru volcano just across the border in Panamá. This group carved some very unique types of stone monuments, including these barrels. They may have been seats for high priests or caciques. A circle of about a dozen of these was reportedly found around this carved rock up in the hills above the Diki region. Perhaps a gathering place for the heads of regional tribes? It's possible that an exodus from the Baru region was triggered by an eruption of the volcano, and the people who moved into regions such as the Burica, the Osa, and the Diki brought with them the stone carving techniques and then evolved or branched off into making spheres. Spheres, in context with barrels, have been professionally excavated near the Golfo Dulce, indicating that while it's impossible to be sure that they were made simultaneously, it's virtually certain that they were used simultaneously by the same people. The next few hundred years witnessed the fall of the Maya, which disrupted trade, particularly in luxury goods, of which the highest good at the time was jade. Simultaneously, the recently developed techniques of working gold were being imported from the Colombian Indians who had developed them. The rivers in the area, particularly those in the Osa and the Burica, were rich with gold. The Diki Indians were in the right place at the right time. Their culture flourished, and their surplus wealth allowed them to indulge in making these labor-intensive monumental sculptures that we admire today. While other styles in iconography came and went, the spheres endured and spread up the coast to the Quepo tribe, over the Talamanca, and up the Valle del General, at least as far as Buenos Aires. Most spheres were made in the Diki region in pre-Columbian times and exported from there in recent times. A dozen or so spheres were reportedly found in the Nicoya Peninsula. But, as usual, their provenance is undocumented. There are, however, two large spheres currently at the National Museum in San Jose that were found in Papagayo and excavated by professionals, so we know they're pre-Columbian, and we also know that the rock they're made of is from the Diki. The Nicoya Indians were ethnically and linguistically very different from the Diki Indians, and we can presume that they didn't share the same cultural conception of the spheres. The Nicoya Indians probably admired the spheres in their own way, perhaps more as an exotic import from faraway lands. So these spheres are a rare example of a pre-Columbian export from the Diki cultural zone to a foreign culture, perhaps as some sort of gift or offering to foster or cement good relations. Here in Pejivaye is another set of anomalous spheres, one in the church courtyard and four more, one on each corner of the local park or soccer pitch, marking the cardinal points in a Mayanesque manner. They're within the Diki cultural zone, but a long way away and separated by mountains. Unlike the Papagayo Indians, these Indians probably did share the cultural significance of the spheres. But they didn't import the spheres from the Diki. Instead, they took the concept and made their own interpretation out of locally available rock, a sandstone. Of all of the spheres, there may be only a dozen sandstone spheres in total, and these really should be kept indoors because, like the few limestone spheres, they just don't stand up to the elements, and they're just getting worn away. In the same valley, but going south, closer towards the Diqui, are these spheres, and a Pre-Columbian stela, or standing stone. The owner of the house informed me that there were 3 spheres, and when they were originally moved here from up the hill, one of the spheres rolled into a river where it still lies submerged today. She also mentioned that recently, when she wanted to move one of the spheres in her garden, it took 9 strong men most of the morning to move it a few paces. You really have to see the spheres in person to feel their character. Pictures and movies just don't convey their silent majesty. There's something primal about them. Some are quiet, but others are radiant with energy. When people see them, they touch them, but not as they normally touch a sculpture. Almost invariably it's with an open hand. Children are enchanted by them. These boys have an ancient playset in their front yard. These girls are blissfully unaware of the history and significance of the balls in their local park.
This is El Silencio. This is the largest petrosphere ever found. It's 2.5 meters more in diameter and must have weighed at least 16 tons. The rock that it's made of comes from probably up here about 16 kilometers over the hills above Oyacero, because the rock around here is limestone. As you can see, it's in very poor shape. What happens is the sun and the fires heat up the rock, and then the afternoon rain comes down and flakes come off it, it exfoliates. And this is unfortunately the state that we see it in now.
We'll probably never know why the Indians invested so much time and effort into making these spheres. But there is one thing we do know for sure. These petrospheres are a unique, ancient, and irreplaceable part of everyone's heritage.
Ye mala nui we mala ni we to quite go kabiti to nendri nedrinje mala botore quite go muta biti to nendrinje malanta da bongra beri le gwetaje